Hey guys, welcome back to the Bird's Nest Schoolhouse. My name is Jocelyn. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I am a homeschooling mom to a 5-year-old and 6-year-old, and in today's video we are going to be going over our science and history world culture studies for the 2026-2027 school year. We are just finishing up our first year of homeschooling, so we are excited, by we I mean me, excited to be planning this part of next year. This is the third part of a 4-part series of our curriculum picks for the coming school year. So we have the individual picks that I did first, and then in the last one I did some enrichment elective subjects that we will be doing. And like I said before, this is going to be science and history / geography world cultures. I should mention that along with the what I do end up choosing, I'm also telling you where I got it from and the cost. We have a budget for both of my kids for $1,000, and so I'm giving you how much I spent on these things, where I got it, if I got a deal, how I got the deal, things like that. All right, for science. Science was definitely a roller coaster journey getting to where we got to, but I am excited as to where we ended up. I made a video about how I am not a sciencey person, and like the thought of teaching my kids science does overwhelm me unless somebody holds my hand pretty much the whole time. Both of my kids love science. If they are not, digging in the yard, planting plants, playing with bugs, they're catching geckos in our little, bug plastic, entrapment case thing. So they definitely really enjoy, they love our nature study that we've done in the past. They do prefer science. I did already talk about one of the science, and that is a science I picked for my son in his individual curriculum picks. However, I am going to mention in this again because it is science that we're doing for next year. Oh, the wind is blowing my camera. And it is called Exploration Education, and it is a physical science program they have 3 different levels, and I got him the K through 3 level. It's 36 weeks. They send you a kit of everything that you need. I'm going to do a flip through of this at a later time, but just a little background on it. They send you a kit of everything you need. They send you a workbook, and at the beginning of each unit, the kids will build a project, and they will use that project throughout the experiments of that unit. So the lessons are online, so I don't have to teach anything, which is great. They will do the lesson. It's 1 lesson a week for 36 weeks, and then they can do the workbook, and then that's it. So I love this because I can kind of supervise him, but he can take his little engineering brain and go to town with these projects. That is, again, that is Exploration Education, and I got it directly from the website, and it was $70. But again, it includes everything that you need for the year. So you don't have to go buy anything. Everything comes in the kit, which is great. For our main science. Now, I really struggled with choosing our main science. So I was really struggling with what to do moving forward because both of my kids love science, and I wanted to honor that, but also give them a really good, solid foundation. I did involve my husband in this decision because he is a science person. I am not the science person in our relationship. He can tell you how anything works. So I did go to him, and we will have conversations about curriculum, but for the most part, he's pretty much, you choose whatever you choose is best, like have at it. But for this, I did end up giving him some samples of different science curriculums because he and the kids think a lot alike. And he pretty much, as soon as he saw BFSU, he's like, I want this one. I want this to be the kids' science curriculum. He said, if I had this when I was growing up, I would have loved to have this program. Like it jumps around, they won't get bored, and it's things that they can understand. It's presented in a way that they can understand, but it's really good, solid information. So I had at that point pretty much talked myself out of BFSU because of the amount of work that it entailed, and planning and prepping and reading, and I was having trouble getting through the introduction. So he said, this is what I want, so let's figure out a way to make this work. Luckily for me, there's a mom on Facebook that asked if anybody would be interested in her teaching the BFSU lessons. And the response that she got was pretty overwhelming, that people were like, yes, absolutely. There's definitely a need for somebody that wants to teach BFSU, can teach BFSU, and in an engaging and fun way. So she ended up putting a couple samples up on Facebook, and I was sold. I said, I'm in. So what she did is she made 16 lessons, and she has a plan to do all of the volumes of BFSU, but she started with level 1 or volume 1. She did 16 lessons, and that is out now. And then she's going to do like follow up on the other lessons. I think she said by the end of summer, the next 16 will come out. And I'm going to put all her information down below. It was, her name is Celine. She is for Rabbit Hole Learning. So she offers 3 different classes. So she does a live version, so you can sign up to be a part of a live class. That is, I believe, I will put the prices down below because I'm not sure on the prices. So she has the live class that you can join, and you sign up for a time slot during the week, and every week she does a class. You can do an accelerated version, so if you want to move quickly through the course, she has that available. And then she does pre-recorded videos. So if you, like me, don't want to sign up for a specific time, you can just purchase the pre-recorded videos. Hey guys, from the time I recorded and edited this video, Celine from Rabbit Hole Learning actually made her pre-recorded videos free. Her live classes are still available for purchase, but now everyone can access her amazing resources, including the video lessons, worksheets, games, and videos, all free of charge. We got the pre-recorded. It's just easier for me. I don't know what our semester is going to look like, so I went the pre-recorded route, and it is a great deal. Not only do you get the pre-recorded video, the lesson, she also gives you worksheets, she gives you games, she gives you videos, like YouTube videos, to further explain her video, and it's 16 weeks long. I think it's a steal because it just took a huge weight off of my shoulders. So I'm actually looking forward to doing science next year. So I'm not quite sure the pace that we're going to be doing. I'm not sure if we're going to take those 16 weeks and kind of stretch them out. She did say that she was coming out with the second semester at the end of summer. Again, her name is Celine, and she is for Rabbit Hole Learning. I will link all of that information down below. I'm very happy that she decided to do that because, again, it has taken a huge weight off my shoulders. That is our big science for next year. Jumping into nature study. Earlier in the year, I asked my kids, I said, what do you want to learn for science for next year? My son was easy. He said birds and animals, but birds, it's okay. And my daughter said slime. I want to learn how to make slime. So, okay, that I can handle. So we are going to be, learning how to make slime for her, but also I am doing an overall bird study for my son. So I've gathered a number of different resources. When I was up in the States, I did go to a library book sale. They had a number of books about birds encyclopedias, birds. There's a book about eagles, just random books, young kids bird encyclopedia. So I have a number of books like that. But the problem that I run into when it comes to bird studies is that a lot of it is for North American birds, which are birds that we don't necessarily have here. We don't have cardinals, robins, blue jays, anything like that. We have parrots and hummingbirds and banana keys. So I did some research, and I found a website called birdscaribbean.org, and they have so many free resources for kids. And what I ended up finding is two coloring books that they offer for free, which one is a migratory bird coloring book and the other is an endemic bird coloring book. And at the beginning of these coloring books, they give you information about birds. They give you anatomy of a bird. What does migratory mean? It gives you maps of the Caribbean and things like that. But then they give you each bird on a page, and then they link it to the website, which you can go and you can hear the bird, you can watch a video of the bird, you can see pictures of the bird. So over the course of next year, we are going to be diving into birds. So I will be using both coloring books. I'll print both coloring books out. I haven't decided whether I want to do it on thicker paper so that we can paint if we want to paint, or if we'll just do it on regular paper. They really enjoyed our nature study watercolors, so maybe we'll do watercolors with that. We have all of the reference books that I bought up in the States. And then Julia Rothman is coming out with a bird anatomy book that I do want to get. I think it comes out in like October or something. So I will incorporate that. So I'm not saying every week we're going to do something about birds. Maybe, well, 1 week we'll do BFSU, 1 week we'll do birds. I'm not really sure what our schedule is going to look like, but I am pretty excited about finding resources that mirror what we can see here at home. That is one of my biggest struggles with a lot of different subjects, is finding resources that are relevant to our home in the Virgin Islands. So pretty excited about that. That sums it up for our science for next year. So I'm pretty excited about our overall science plan. Now the key is to not overwhelm us and try and do too much. So we're gonna ease into it and see what we can get. I know my son is gonna love the exploration education physical science kit. I think that with the help of Celine at Rabbit Hole Learning, we will have a successful year with BFSU. And then when we need to get outside and have some fun and get in nature, we have some pretty cool resources with birds and the Caribbean. So let's move on to history and world geography. We are doing a curriculum that I created based off of the book called Milo's Museum. The idea for this came one night when I was watching the prequel to Yellowstone, 1883. And I was telling my husband that it was so cool that they could kind of give you the story leading up to Yellowstone, the show. Yes, I know it's all TV, and then the idea came to me. I said, I know what we're going to do for next year. So I bought this book, Milo's Museum, last year. And this is a book about Milo. And she goes to a museum and she doesn't see herself represented at the museum. She doesn't see anybody who looks like her, who has a similar story to her. So she goes home and she asks her auntie, like, why was there nobody that looked like me at the museum? And so her auntie says, well, why don't you just make your own museum? You know, you went to that person's museum, so you make your museum and you have your family, what you want that in your museum that tells the world about you. And I wanted to use this book somehow, and I just couldn't quite figure out how I wanted to bring it into our homeschool. And this is the perfect opportunity. So we are going to be making our own museum, and it is going to be the story of my kids' story and how they came to be where they are, and all of the story of their past family lineage leading up to the present moment. So basically we're going to be doing, it's a 32-week program that I've mapped out, no pun intended. So we're going to start with basically the beginning of their story, where they were born, how my husband and I met, and where we came from, like how we ended up in the Virgin Islands, and then we are going to branch out from there. So each region that we visit, I have selected 3 for my husband and 3 for me, and then we are going to be doing the Virgin Islands. Each region that we go to, we're going to talk about the brief history of that region and how that history affects their story, the kids' story. And then we're also going to study culture, sports, festivals. Here, let me see. I have a list. We're going to do map geography, a brief history, and how that story affected our story. festivals and traditions, fabric and fashion, food, sports, crafts, music and instruments, dance, wildlife, animal spotlight, or bird spotlight. We're going to just bring the bird unit full circle. Native peoples, and then artists and famous artwork. I want to use picture books. I want to bring in a chapter book, at least one chapter book per region to bring into our read aloud. So kind of like an all-encompassing curriculum. And then as we move through these regions, we are going to be adding to our museum. So at the end of the year, we'll have different crafts and maps and things like that that they can have across their museum that they have created throughout the year. Overall, we're going to be doing 9 regions or countries. So we're going to start here in the Virgin Islands, and then we will branch out to where my husband and I both came from. So for me, it'll be United States. And then going further back, we will have British and Irish. We will have, my goodness, we will have Central Eastern European, and then Western Europe. For my husband, we will have Dominica, which is a Caribbean country in the south, in the southern chain, island chain, and then we will have Sub-Saharan Africa. We will have Europe, Western Europe, different from my Western Europe, and the last one for him will be Native American. So we have some pretty diverse regions happening, which I think overall is going to make a really, really awesome year, keeping everything fresh and moving all over the place. And I think that it could be really, really fun, and I'm really looking forward to it. But I will give more information on that. I know I gave you quite the preview there, but I'll give you more information on that in a future video. So, and then again, like I said, I came up with that. I purchased that book last year, and then I created that curriculum outline, and I will continue to create it because right now it is just an outline. So I did not spend any money on that, but I am sure once I get into the specifics of books and things like that, I will be adding to our budget for sure. So if you have any good picture books or chapter books for the regions that I mentioned, please go ahead and leave them down below. Okay, and last but not least, in the last video, I did forget to mention that we are doing artistic pursuits for next year. I did purchase the first 2 books because originally I was planning on going into Ancients in the second part of this year, but we are no longer doing that. But I do have it in case we do move forward with it. So I did purchase the first 2 volumes from Rainbow Resource. I purchased each one for $54. I think it's like $2 or $3 cheaper on Rainbow Resource than it is on the Artistic Pursuits website. However, the supplies, Rainbow Resource sells the supplies. They sell it in a kit, but they also sell everything individually, and everything is significantly cheaper, like supply-wise, on Rainbow Resource. I think only one item was cheaper on Amazon, but that's only because they were having a flash sale or something. But I did a price comparison between Rainbow Resource, Michael's, Target, and Amazon, and pretty much 95% of everything was cheaper on Rainbow Resource. So if you are doing artistic pursuits and you need supplies, definitely check out Rainbow Resource. All right, so that completes our curriculum pick videos, parts 1, 2, and 3. You now know everything that we are doing next year. And in the next video, I'm going to be talking about our summer plans and then our overall budget, how we did, what we spent, and how much I have left, if anything, to spend on books. So thank you for following along this journey so far. I'm glad for these curriculum picks to be finished because it is stressful picking curriculum, I'm not going to lie. So I look forward to bringing you all along on this journey. And if you have any questions about anything I mentioned down below or in previous videos, please feel free to ask. And thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!